on people who kind of blend both Isheshe and Lukumi practice.
I would say that as a rule of thumb, you can learn both, but practice one. Um, the religions throughout time have evolved. If it doesn't evolve, it moves backwards, plain and simple, because everything is moving and the traditions are moving. And everything that has evolved, in my opinion, the religions evolved in their areas according to their environment. So this is why we have the religion that we have in the diaspora, because it evolved and adapted to our environment and to our situations. Isheshe adapted and evolved and changed according to their environment over time, suppressing the religion because of the influence of Christianity and Islam. Lukumi, suppressing and hiding, not suppressing, but hiding the religion. I believe Isheshe suppressed the religion and they downgraded the religion. And Lukumi, they hid the religion without suppressing it. But it evolved out of secrecy, because it wasn't open. In Africa, it was very open. It was a common practice in some of the areas. They didn't have that liberty. So secrecy was born. Adaptions, evolvements, adaptation. And the religion is pertinent to where you live, in my opinion. Now it's a little different with the age of travel and open freedoms and internet, age of the information and communications. It's not the same. And you definitely have a right to now being exposed to different things and different ways of practicing. The languages, the customs, and the cultures are different. I've said before, I don't agree with people saying one is right or wrong, but one is an expression of a different environment of people. And every religion has its changes. And if you learn now with information and people want to be, you can adapt and implement some of the Isheshe things with Lukumi and Lukumi with the Isheshe. I've seen it on both. I know a lot of Isheshe houses that do warriors all the time and give out warriors with the Gulpats and the Osums all the time. From the Iyanifas or Babalaos, Isheshe gave this person warriors and gave them a Gulpat. That's a Lukumi adaptation. There was nothing of the sort. You only received an Etu, and there was a Ogun shrine. Didn't get no Osum staff of the Babalao staff, but now they do. Almost all of them. Almost all of them. Ilekes was a Lukumi thing. Originally you only received your Ilekes when you made your crowning of the Orisha, and you get the Ileke of that Orisha. Nishesh and Lukumi, there's adaptations. Certain languages, certain prayers that have been adapted, certain meanings, certain words we use, and certain understandings, and certain things that we have changed with some of the knowledge that we have been exposed to. But the problem is, people are getting confused. People are getting enamored. People are getting fantasized and thinking this is the truest way and this is right and I want more and I want more and I want to receive my Ori and I want to receive this, and thinking that that is the truest way. And a lot of times throughout history we find out that the Lukumi kept the original or the oldest or the the genesis of things and how things were, and a lot of adaptations were done later throughout the capitals and to other things. And it's not always, and then there was different regions of Africa with the colors, with the 1 inking versus the 16 with equal file, or the 2. And they think that you should receive 16 and start doing that and not understanding. That is a misconception, and that is a misinterpretation of the equal file versus equal file Jaffa or Betibi Jaffa, or the region where you came in from, or how it was done, things that were done for power and control in both places. But the minute you start trying to adapt both, the minute you're going to find yourself with problems. I'm not going to clean my legua after feeding him because in Isheshe, they leave the echus dirty, they clean them, they never clean them after the blood. That is not an agreement. That is not how we practice in Lukumi. We clean the legua after a certain amount of time with the blood, the feathers, candle lit, then we clean him. Ogun as a pot can be left. You clean the legua, you clean osum, you clean the orishas. After the orishas are fed, if you're feeding Shango or Batala, after a certain amount of time, they are not left there with the blood from any remedies or any abo or any consecrations for a long period of time. Same, no difference from a legua. There are echus, paths of an eshu that live outside and for a different path and for a different purpose, not for the elegua or the eshu ele of the elegua, the path that lives inside the home that is done with your ajagun, your warriors that you are born with. You clean him. If you have been given, or you have an echu that lives outside that's protecting you, then that can be fed and left like that. That's a whole different ballgame. See, but you want to try to incorporate both, and now you are leaving your elegua that you should be cleaning, in my opinion, and the lukumin you're leaving them dirty. That's just one example of why I'm trying to do it like they do. And learning different things, and this is how you do that, and this is how you petition Shango, and this is how you do that. Listen, that is how they do it. In Isheshe, this is not how it's done in Lukumi. And when you start trying to do both, you end up breaking a spiritual line that you are been given. And it's important you keep that energy and Ashe going, and through the process of how you were born and raised in Ashe that was passed down to you. You know, so well, in Isheshe, you don't have to wear white for 1 year, so I don't have to do it because they never really needed it. That's a Santeria thing. That is a Lukumi thing. That is in the States. That is the Americas. Okay, I don't got to have my head covered as a Onorisha Yawo. There's a lot of things that we've adapted. There's a lot of things that we're changing within our system and that I'm also trying to change, but it has nothing to do with, because I want to bring in Asheshe. We learn, we try to adapt, but when it goes against your fundamental core, that's a problem. And you got to be very careful. And you follow what your elders are teaching you. Me as elders, I'm trying to learn, but practice one and adapt. If we don't adapt and we don't grow, we're only moving backwards. We always have to adapt for the times. The weather forecast is never the same for the day or a few days after. If it says it's supposed to be sunny and raining this day, it is not going to be sunny and raining on this day. If it says you need to wear a jacket today because this is the season, it doesn't mean that in the summertime you got to be wearing jackets. You change according to the forecast and according to the environment and according to the things. Just like the Orishas adapted in Lukumi with the Orishas and how they had to do things. And you course correct some things. The implementation of Catholicism was a big thing, was a big cultural thing. There's been some adaptations with that. Things that are done, how we incorporate those things. And some people are getting back to the cores and finding that within the Lukumis, some of the elders, the original elders in Cuba, the original Babalaos, the original Olorishas, the original people are like, we don't need to do that. And that's growth. But that doesn't mean, oh, in Isheshe, they do this. In Isheshe, they do that. And or Lukumi, we're doing this. And someone's doing that and with themselves, and it creates a confusion and a misconception. So, my opinion, you stay with your elders. You pick a tradition. Because you think that you can go, oh, I live in the States, and I've been with my godfather, but I'm going to go ahead to Isheshe, get initiated half the price as a Babalawo, come back over here, and then say, I want to work with you. I'm sorry, you can't. I wasn't there for your ceremony. Well, how many people were there? There was 3 people. It was over 3 days. Old dude was not, they said that I needed, that's going to be our next time I can go back and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, I'm sorry. Some things you can put yourself at risk without the proper preparations and ceremonies done for you on either side. Because you're messing with different energies that had different growths and different evolutions. And you try mixing them two, you're putting yourself in a dangerous situation. Learn many, practice one, in my opinion. And adapt and grow within the one. And adapt to some things that you feel are good, and then don't go against your core, and grow with knowledge as we're learning. Old Bidi says we all are learning. We all take some knowledge. We all incorporate. But understand, you are working according to your elders and with your fundamental foundation within your environment, within your elders. Stay there.